It's about the time to talk it out.
Let's talk, let's talk.
It's time to talk it out. It's time to talk it out.
Let's talk, let's talk.
You know it's time to talk it out.
Hey, hey, hey! And it's your boy Chill. And you have now tuned in to another segment of Talk It Out. And you know how we do every single day on Talk It Out. First of all, I've got to introduce my co-hosts. And it goes without saying. First, DJ Despair, all the way from Winnipeg, Canada. And what up? And the lovely DeBoss at headquarters there in Toronto, Canada. And of course, you can't forget the astute Hugh. Oh, man. And boy, oh boy, you know, today we have a very special guest on the show. Mm-hmm. And he's a special guest to me, you know, in a lot of ways because he's helped me personally in this game. He is actually, when it comes to the radio technical aspect and things of that nature of the game, he's my mentor. He's done a lot, you know, giving me a lot of advice and moving around, and he does a lot in the Madison, Wisconsin community. He's the general manager for the FM station at which I'm program director for, 95.5 FM, WWMV, and I'll let him tell you all that stuff. But without further ado, let me introduce to you my brother, my friend, my compadre, Corey Dub Whitmore. What up, Corey?
Hey, how you doing? I appreciate that intro. That's a lot of love. That's a lot of love. I never saw myself as a mentor to you. I saw it as a reverse.
Oh, man, you my brother, man. You are my brother. Hey, man, it's an honor to have you on the show today. Allow me to introduce to you DJ Despair out of Winnipeg, Canada. You've heard me mention him before.
I've heard those mixes. Those are hot. Good to finally meet you.
Appreciate you.
And our people out in headquarters, DeBoss out of Toronto, Canada.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, good, very good, thank you.
And our technical man and also executive producer, Hugh.
How you doing, sir?
Hey, great to meet you.
Good to meet you.
So, Corey, now that I finally have got you on the show, right?
Right.
Got some time. Tell everybody where you're from, your background, all that good stuff.
I was born in Harrisburg, PA. So for people that see me with my Eagles hat or my Steelers hat, that's where it comes from, even though I'm in Packerland. I understand that. But that's where I was born. I got a lot of love for my people in Pennsylvania. I'm a Marquette University graduated in 2004 in broadcasting, in electronic communications with a minor in business administration. I launched an independent label out of Milwaukee in 2005. It actually started in my apartment, 2004, working with local artists and people that I knew. But it became an LLC in 2005. So I say that's when it was legitimate. And was doing the independent label thing for about 8 years. Enjoyed it, learned a lot. It was something that had to be built from the ground up. So, you know, doing that and then wearing, every hat imaginable in the beginning, from, CEO to engineer to producer to marketer. You really learn a lot. And I met some great people on the way, and some people I've been able to incorporate into my second business. So when I moved from Milwaukee, I was there for 15 years. I moved to Madison, Wisconsin about 5 years ago. I started a company called Media 22 LLC in 2017. The difference between the Deuce Entertainment, the indie label, is Media 22 is more service based. where the label was very dependent upon artists and things of that sort. So this is kind of a flip, still in entertainment, but more service based. And Media 22 has DJ services, special event DJ services. Of course, the radio arm, Radio 22, which is a internet radio station. We merged with a production company this year, China Brown Instrumentals. And we also are looking now for the next phase for next year to purchase a venue here in Madison to be able to put on our own events and shows. Also, as Chill mentioned, I'm general manager of WWMV LP 95.5 FM right here in Madison as well. So I stay busy. It's not so hard for us to connect sometimes.
Yeah, tell me about it. But tell us, you do a lot with the youth
right
out there. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I've kind of on and off since college. I've been involved in youth programming in some way, shape, or form. When I was in college, I was doing stuff at the Y in Milwaukee. After I graduated, I took over a spot at the Boys and Girls Club in inner Milwaukee just to run a studio part-time. And what ended up blossoming from that is ended up going full-time and then being program director at the Boys and Girls Club there in Milwaukee. So, I mean, things like that, I was in charge of everything from basketball and coaching, because we had teams, to creating programs. So we created summer programs, things like leadership programs. We started to get into restorative justice activities with the kids as well. And when I moved from Milwaukee here, 95.5 is associated with the Lucier Community Education Center. So very similar to the Boys and Girls Club as far as the programs and the different things they run. So out here in Madison with the kids, I'll go to the middle school and I'll do some after school programs, and we are working on developing podcasts. So we have kids on air every Saturday and Sunday displaying and running their podcasts and talking about the different things that are affecting them and affecting their community. So we wanted to make sure that the podcasts were really based in the narrative of change. What are you seeing? What would you like to see change, whether it's at school or whether it's in your community? So that's I've enjoyed it. I've loved it. The kids are great. They're smart. They're intuitive. They can pick up the technical aspect of it quicker than I thought. So we actually have them go over to the radio station and we'll do a demo of how everything works and things of that sort. These kids get in there for 15 minutes. They're all over the board and they're running it. And they're kicking me out, and I'm just looking through the window, and they're doing their own record and stops. And no, you can't say it that way. You say it this way. So it's been great, and I really enjoyed it.
Wow. So DeBoss and Hugh, I know that you're unmuted, and Hugh looks like he's
He's ready.
into that microphone. So I'm gonna cut off here and let you guys ask what you want.
Well, that's great, Chill. That intuition is really working well. Corey, no, it sounds like a great project working with these kids, because I've often thought that, when you take a community that's maybe facing some issues like drugs and gangs and whatever, or just dysfunctional, whether it's a high-rise apartment block or whether it's any kind of a neighborhood that's facing some issues, right? First, one of the problems I think is that the kids just don't have anything to do, so they get themselves in trouble.
Very much.
And now here you're doing this kind of thing, and it just seems like such a great idea. First of all, to put the kids, to get them busy doing something that's fun and something that's worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
But also, with the approach of trying to be kind of focused on problem solving for the community.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get the older people also, maybe not behind the camera, but maybe on camera, or maybe everybody can be part of a conversation just trying to deal with solving the issues in that community. So it sounds like it's so much positive stuff can come out of this.
Yes. I mean, the kids, the kids, one, start doing some critical thinking about what's going on around them, recognizing things that they see that are not just, or things that they need to see change, whether it's in school and it has something to do with bullying. I know there's a podcast on that. Some people didn't like that. Oh, you have some people loitering around a building that aren't doing things that they should be doing. The things that they're starting to see and started to notice in their community is great. They're also developing skills. They're developing skills to be able to make a statement and then find evidence to support it. So the thing that we go through is, hey, if you have a topic or you have an issue you want to talk about, that's great. What are your bullet points? If you have a stance or a statement, how do you go about and support that? Mm-hmm. And they have to go through and do that research and look things up and apply statistics along with just their own their own ideals. There needs to have something behind it. So we kind of go through that process. So they're learning those analytical skills, those critical thinking, those research skills, and then you have people that may not be for them, but then you have people that are interested in more of the tech side. So we kind of split things up to say, hey, we're going to put a group together. What are your strengths? Okay, you need to be on the microphone. I've heard you talking the whole time I've been here. That's fine. We're going to go ahead and put you on the mic. And we're going to put that to use. Then there's some people that are quieter that say, hey, being on the mic, being in front of the camera isn't for me, but I would love to learn how to record. I would love to learn how to edit. I would love to learn how to put these things together. And we also have them do a little bit of music as well, a little bit of beat production. So they learn all the skills from behind there. And the first time I did it, I made the mistake, which shows my age. I introduced it as a radio show. After the first semester, I changed it to podcast, because when I said radio show, they gave me blank looks and they were not excited at all. When I came back and I said, podcast? Oh man, I listen to podcast and this and that. I'm like, okay. I now see how I need to advertise this to the kids moving forward in podcast form, not radio show form.
So, Corey, I just wanted to ask you something. Like with the COVID and all that going on, like how are you dealing with these the kids now? Because it must be a little different. The parents must be freaking out and stuff at you and everything.
It's really been difficult, especially out here in Wisconsin. We have I think we reached our highest cases that we've had since COVID hit. So the school system is a little bit in flux. COVID actually hit right before Jefferson Middle School was supposed to record their podcast. I felt so bad that they were not able to do it. What we are trying to do right now is that with the community center is providing kind of support and tutors for kids that may not be able to stay at home, but their parents are still working. So I'm trying to work something out with the community center to say, hey, even if it's through Zoom or some sort of media where they can record audio into it, and I can extract that and still try and put it together for them to try and create a podcast. So that's something that we're trying to do second semester. We moved so late because the school district believed that by this time we would be back in person. And unfortunately, we are not. So the second quarter will also be virtual learning. So now we're saying, hey, because we are still in virtual learning and cases are on the rise, we may need to figure out how we can do something via Zoom or a StreamYard or something like that, where we can still put something together for the kids, because they still need that outlet, and they still need to be, working on those skills and developing those skills.
And keep them busy.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I really like this particular technology here, the StreamYard, because you can actually just download the audio only. If we don't have to extract it from the video. So
it's a beautiful thing.
I know.
Yeah. I just wanted to say real quick, this segment is brought to you by Mobbed Up Water. I have to put that in there as a PSA. Now,
wait, what's it look like, Will?
I don't have it on me, so since he wants to crack a joke,
I'm interested
I
as
can
well.
show you this.
So,
Now, allow me to ask DJ Despair if he has any questions, since he seems to be the logical one in this conversation right now.
you don't need to ask me because I was just about to ask anyways. So
Right.
it's just like we're going in.
You're rude like that.
I ain't trying to be rude. I wait my turn. All right, I wait my turn. I learned better. Mama taught me well. Shout out to my mama. So,
Happy today.
hey,
Right, he's happy today, right, boss? He's
Trust me.
happy.
Trust me. Trust me.
He's not looking up in the sky, you know.
Because I'm not in front of my other computers.
But
Right, you
Hey,
know.
leave the beard alone. Okay, it's a hip hop culture. So, as
Very much.
in the way live streaming is going right now, and I really appreciate what you're doing because I'm doing this, trying to do the same thing with the youth out here and a lot of the people in the industry. It's since we've evolved in this, because like I've been doing online for about 10 years now, like,
Okay.
and a lot of people are now just starting to get into live streaming. A lot of
Right.
people are just now starting to understand it, which a lot of us, between myself, you, and Chill, we've been around this for a good minute, and we've watched this evolve.
Yes.
So it's like now when you look at people getting to apps now and getting to things, you can stream all our shows on apps. And a lot of
Right.
people were like, well, why are you guys getting apps for it? Because the world is turning into apps.
Yes. Yes, it is.
You know what I mean? So how does it like feel now knowing that we could be accessed anywhere now?
I mean, it's an incredible feeling. You know, it's something that just being in entertainment and me being an audio engineer, part of what I do is really track technology. And I go to conferences, and you know, like, haven't had them this year per se, but you know, that's what I do, and I'm always tracking technology, and I'm always in a place to try and bring somebody or update what somebody already has. And actually I get more excited about that than my own realizations of what's going on. Take an example like the Boys and Girls Club. When I went to the Boys and Girls Club, you know, they their studio was closed for 2 years. You had kids going in there that didn't even know there's a studio in there. And, you know, I'm able to walk in, I'm able to make an assessment of what they have and say, hey, if we want to be able to do X, Y, and Z, beat production, we can start learning song structure and some of all these other things. You need to grab this, 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 and this. And, you know, that's a studio that's still running. The church I used to work at, we just put together from scratch their whole live stream system 6 months before COVID hit, which was something that they had thought about and were playing with. And I saw some of the pieces in the back room and say, oh, in 2014 we were trying to do this, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that it was a good attempt. That's not going to quite get you there, but this is what we can do. And I'll take it even more present to the station. 95.5 is relatively new. It started in 2016. One of the first things I looked at was what you just mentioned, was apps. You know, they're providing a lot for the community as far as some of their programming, but I'm like, this content can go farther than where you're currently thinking it can go. And yes, this will still benefit our community. They can still dial in on the FM dial, but you know what? There are other communities similar to this that would love to hear these stories. We can do that via app. We may need to change your automation system, but it'll be that much better for it. And the growth that you can experience because now you've changed your automation system and now you have apps available in which we can have people in Chicago, we can have people in Miami, LA, New York tune in, because a lot of the things that we're discussing, they're discussing too. And we, you know, a lot of people learn from listening to other people and how they may be handling a certain situation or certain problems. So you know, I'm excited for it. You know, it's been great to see the growth, especially on the live streaming. When COVID first hit, I was scrambling a little bit, and I was like, is Zoom the only option? And I was trying to do what I could with Zoom, but I felt boxed in. And then, you know, tripped over StreamYard, tripped over all these other things, and it's just continuing to develop, and it's been great.
Well, I see, like, look at the times that with all the radio stations that we're connected with their DJs and all the stuff that we've been going, everything now is all being connected into one, and I love it now. And then,
Yes.
like, even when COVID hit, chill, and everybody calls me up and it's like, yo, you've always been doing it, like, let's do this, let's get into this now. like and when we hit the airwaves, it was so natural and great to start. Some people didn't make it to the finish line, but this is how the game goes. You always don't stop. Like, you just got to keep going. And a lot of people just sat there and just like, what is Periscope? What how do we do Periscope? Why are we trying to stream? I was using Periscope back in 2015, 14.
Yep.
And people were just scared of it. Like, they didn't get it. And then the music industry now is like, oh yeah, go stream on Periscope. Oh, we're having meetings on Periscope. I'm like, I've been telling you this for years. Like,
and that's technology. It's always changing, and you can very easily get left behind if you're not trying to figure out what's the new thing, trying it out, working it, seeing what all the quirks were. I mean, we've also at Radio 22 moved to StreamYard from Zoom because we had worked Zoom as much as we could, and then we said it's not giving us everything we want to do. But using Zoom, helped set us up for StreamYard. So by the time we got on StreamYard, I'm like, oh yeah, this is easy, and we can do this. Oh, this is great.
yeah, and it's awesome. I just feel happy right now because finally, I have together, the people that, a majority of the people that I feel have made an impact, not only in my career, but in my life right now, on this stream here.
Right.
Because, like the boss and Hugh, I've been going back and forth with the boss for the longest on doing something. And now look at us. We have a TV show reaching out to over 1 million, households, and Hugh right along with her, like, and me and Despair, we've been going at it for years, back and forth and just different things. And me and Corey, the road that we've traveled down, Corey. So it's been a wavy one. Yeah,
but we've been in the same circle, but not in the same circle. We've met before. When I was doing the music thing in Milwaukee, we had met before.
Way before.
Yeah, because the funny thing was when we met again at a conference in Madison, Between the Waves conference they were hosting. It was a music conference. And we were just talking about things going on or whatever and catching up. And we have a mutual friend, Godzilla, Chris Taylor, which I think who's already been on here.
Yeah.
We were just sitting and talking, and then I was talking about the radio station, and I guess his eyes and ears perked up a little bit. He's like, "Oh yeah, we got to connect. Give me your number. I'm gonna put it in my phone." So I started giving him my number, and he typed it in. He's like, "You're already in my phone."
Right, and it was crazy, because we met each other like 15 years ago, like years. At Janesville, Wisconsin, at a place called Club Extreme.
Yeah.
Which now is called the Back Bar.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was good.
Right, Jill?
It's a United States thing. It has nothing to do with y'all folk out there, man. But I'm looking at my vision for Talk It Out is to really just bring out more people out of not just everywhere, but really out of Wisconsin, because we are a market in Wisconsin that a lot of people, they really just don't know. They don't know how much talent is here, how many resources are here. Like University of Wisconsin is like, up there is one of the best
research universities. I mean, in the United States, possibly in the world.
Possibly in the world.
They do some research. That's what they do.
Yeah,
and they do it unlike very many other places.
Yes. That Hugh, don't be up there cracking jokes. You always crack jokes during my show. How would you like it if I went on Caribbean Liquid Lunch and cracked a joke? You know, you're gonna make me have a meltdown here.
And this is only on live TV.
This is only on live TV, right?
But he may be trying to figure out where Wisconsin is, and he would not be the only one. My friends and family out on the East Coast, when I'm like, where's Wisconsin? Where y'all at? I know where Chicago is, but where y'all at? I'm like, actually, we aren't that far. I mean, it's an hour and a half drive from Milwaukee to Chicago.
I'm spelling it right now. How do you spell it?
Right.
I know exactly where it is because that's where Lenny and Squiggy come from.
Oh my goodness. I thought he was going to say that's where all the serial killers come from.
I forgot.
Because it is. It is where all the serial killers come from.
Wisconsin.
That's what we know
here in Canada. A lot of people have not seen. Well, a lot of people from Chicago, Wisconsin. You know, the Midwest. You know, the Central there time. So we don't, because you're always hearing people from New York and Florida and all that. So it's good to see you guys are getting the exposure out in Chicago, Wisconsin, and these places because, a lot of people probably didn't even know about it till now they're watching.
What are you talking about? Everybody knows about Chirac. They made a movie.
Despair.
I'm just saying.
Despair. Hey, Corey, we have these spats on my show all the time.
I see. That's what makes it fun, though.
We don't do it on no other show on Caribbean Liquid Lunch.
Chicago.
It's like this is the let your hair down show, right?
Right.
The nice thing is, though, if there's a problem, we just talk it out.
Right, we just talk it out. They blame it on Chill and talk it out.
Right.
And they always pick it on Hugh because he doesn't know the musicians.
We're not picking on you. Hugh picks on himself.
Yes,
Cover Muslim.
Okay.
Holy.
Is that true?
And every day. Like, I think that looks like a do-rag, though, on your head, though.
No, you know what? I've been getting jealous. Because Hugh's got every color, fam. Hugh's got every color.
He's turning black.
What are you talking about? It's in him. It's in him. It's not turning. It's in him.
Right now, he has waves on it.
It's in him. He can hear Jimmy.
You probably got more waves than me right now.
Can you hear Jimmy?
I had to shave mine off. I don't get to the barber enough.
Hugh's hair is permanently flat or whatever.
Hey, Chill. As in the movie, White Man Can't Jump. Does he hear Jimmy?
Right.
Does he hear Jimmy?
He said he could jump.
No, it's anyways. It's just
So Corey,
Yes, sir.
Corey, tell us a little bit here about what made you want to start or go into the media 22, the media aspect of things. Like, why did you go and learn about broadcasting in college? Like, what drew you to it?
Wow, that's also that's a wavy road. I'll start with this, especially it being Halloween. When I was 8 years old, I was the only kid that went trick-or-treating as a businessman. I dressed up with a suit. I grabbed my dad's suitcase, and I would say trick-or-treat, and I open up the suitcase, throw the money in, I close it, and I walk to the next house. So there's always been something in me that wanted to be in business in some way, shape, or form. It took me a while to figure out exactly what it was. In my teens, I was surprisingly, I wasn't in band. I wasn't really I was into music as a fan, but I didn't play music. It was not until I got into college, and I'm not sure who gave it to me. Somebody gave me a beat program. It was called, I think, Mixman, and it was back then, it was early 2000s. It wasn't a great program. It was very limited in what you could do. You had a lot of loops and ways you could manipulate them. But when I got that program, I turned out 150 beats off that program.
Oh,
And
wow.
I said, I love this. I want to do more. My friend from California was my roommate. He said, hey, I work with something called EJ. Gave me EJ. And then I cranked out another 100 beats on EJ. And I'm like, man, so what I do now? I mean, I'm sitting on all these beats. I'm at work. I'm at the airport at that time. I'm out at Mitchell Airport in Milwaukee. I have a friend, Mr. G, who raps and da-da-da-da. He's like, yeah, can you record? I'm like, I don't know. I've never recorded before. So I tracked down a old 8-track. I had a microphone hanging from the ceiling down to rap on, and I just started to figure it out. So how I kind of got into music and got into these things is that, I just started playing with them. I just wanted to learn more and more. And I really just couldn't put it down. I mean, every opportunity I could to, let me see if I can make a beat. Oh, let me see if I can do this. Oh, let me see if I can learn more on recording and making it better and better and better. And this was happening while I was in school. So when I was in school, initially, I wasn't there for that. My mom actually wanted me to go into physical therapy. Thanks, Mom. But she got a lot of love from me. She felt it was a good career to be in. She's like, oh, you could do stuff with the sports teams and do PT and da-da-da. But it just wasn't my passion. It didn't drive me. So halfway through school, I ended up switching to broadcasting electronic communications, which at the time was the closest they had to music. Marquette is not known for that. Marquette is known for business and nursing. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to do this music thing, I need to learn about the business. That's where the business minor came in. Where I'm like, well, I can get my minor if I get these courses and still be online to graduate. And then I did the broadcasting electronic communications. I mean, to be honest, the first 2 years at Marquette, I was lost. I was on academic probation. I was one semester away from really being kicked out.
Because you were such a bad kid.
I wasn't a bad kid, but I was not getting the grades, and I knew I needed to be in college. I felt that I needed to do that, but I wasn't inspired to be there. I wasn't moved to be there. So I was taking courses that I just really didn't care about.
Gotcha.
It didn't move me until I moved over to broadcasting electronic communications, and then I started to do the business. Then the motivation was there. I won't say I've been a stellar student all my life. I haven't been a stellar student all my life.
Nobody has.
But oh no, I know some people. I know some people. My wife upstairs, she's been a stellar student all her life. I don't think she's ever gotten a B.
The boss.
But for me, it was really I needed something. It was something to drive me. And when I find something that I like and that, I won't stop. You don't have to motivate me to learn. I will go and seek it out myself. And then I will just continuously get caught up in it. And in the way I move, I'm always trying to one up myself. Yeah. So that's kind of my mentality. If I figured out how to do the digital recorder, okay, then I want to go and do this. Oh, if I did that, then now I want to go do this. Oh, if I learned that program, now I want to go and learn this program. Oh, you're doing live streaming like that? Well, I'm gonna go to this conference and figure out a better way to do live streaming. That's how my psyche is. So, everything. I'll always tell people this is what it is today, but I guarantee you, next year it's going to be something bigger and better. And that's just how I move.
And that's why I respect the hell out of Corey Whitmore.
I love that because everything you're saying makes sense. Because, especially as we're talking right now, there's been an app program that me and Chillin' Out stuff have been involved with, where there's DJs could get artists could tip the DJs for playing the record. Mm-hmm. Right. And then I got people now messaging oh, hey, bro, you should start an app that does that. I'm like, dude, we've been promoting that for the past 2 years.
Right.
Ever since COVID started, everybody's starting to see the stuff that we've been doing.
Correct.
And now, go ahead.
Go on.
Well, I was just going to say, sometimes it just takes for people to sit down and be still.
Right.
and then they'll learn and they'll open their eyes to different things. But one last question.
Yes, sir.
Before I ask you to spit out all your contact information, is that it's the key question I try to ask everybody that comes on this show. Some people hate it, some people love it. I really don't care. It's a question at which you have to answer every time. Right. And that is, what is the most craziest moment that you have, and look, that you have ever experienced, whether it's in the studio, doing a show, or what have you, in your career?
Craziest moment?
The most craziest moment. And you were like, wow.
Craziest moment I've ever experienced.
And remember, you're on TV.
Right. I mean, I'm very, I like to plan things out ahead of time and then make contingency plans for things that happen. So most times things normally line up, but there'll be a few occasions where there's some outliers. Craziest thing. I don't know if it's the craziest, but the thing that comes to mind, man, there's two things going to mind. I'll tell the first one. So we were at a show out of town. I know we're on live TV, so I'm going to try not to say where and who, but we're out of town for a performance. So all of us we've made it to the venue, excuse me. We're there getting ready. We're about to go on stage. We're sitting at the bar, which is right next to the stage or whatever, just, getting a little water, last drink before hitting the stage. And somebody looks over and says, "Is that your baby mama?" And looks back at that person and says, he says, "Oh no, that can't be her. That can't be her." She comes out, she comes in the door, goes across the stage, grabs his ear, pulls him back across the stage in front of everybody, and takes him out of the venue about 5 minutes before we're about to go perform.
Oh my God. In front of all those people. He just snatched them up. Oh my God. Now that is a crazy moment. Oh man.
It was interesting to try to do some of those songs that he was already worked in, but we figured it out.
Well, we're winding down here. So tell everybody your social medias, where to catch you, your website, all that good stuff.
All right. So Media 22 is the hub. That's where everything is under. So you can hit us up at media22llc.com. All of our social media is at Media22LLC. If you're particularly looking for the radio station, which you guys need to go and download the app is absolutely free. We play classic hip hop, classic R&B. We have indie hip hop, indie R&B. We have podcasts and talk radio on there as well. That is myradio22.com. All social medias are at myradio22. So they'll be able to reach us on there.
Outstanding. So we have had, once again, another great episode of Talk It Out. And remember, people, when you are at a concert and you don't have permission from your baby mom before she snatches you by the ear and drags you across the stage in front of thousands of people, just look at her and say, "Hey, babe, let's just talk it out."
It's about the time to talk it out.